Hey you guys, welcome back. I just wanted to take a moment first to say thank you so much to all my new subscribers, and thank you to obviously Heidi Sambal because I did her DIY challenge and I know that brought a lot of you my way. So I appreciate her so much for working with smaller channels like mine and for giving us the opportunity to showcase what we are capable of and what we can do, because obviously I do this because I love it and I'm passionate about it, and I want to share that with everybody else, and I want to share that you can do these things yourself. You are fully capable. You could accomplish these things. A lot of things I didn't know how to do until I watched YouTube videos and just kind of like, I was gonna say practice and error. Is that it? No, it's something else. You guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I know you are. So again, thank you so much to all my new subscribers, and I hope you guys enjoy the content, and I hope you guys stay, and I hope you guys enjoy all the other videos coming your way. But okay, for this video, as my little thing says, I do wood signs and DIYs. I do wood signs as a business. When I was first starting out, it was so hard finding wood sign YouTube videos that really explained what they were doing, or there just wasn't really any that I could use to learn. I don't know. It's really, even today when I'm like looking for things, I'm like, oh, that's kind of confusing. So I am going to be trying to put out wood sign DIYs or just wood sign videos on Wednesdays, and then I will be doing smaller like Dollar Tree craft things on Mondays and Fridays. If I find that the wood signs are doing better with the videos, then I might put out more of those, or if you guys want to see more of those, comment down below, because I'm working on wood signs every single day, so I could definitely start videotaping myself working on them. But today we are going to make a wood framed sign. This is a Father's Day sign. I will drop the SVG file that I purchased. This is actually my first time purchasing a design, you guys. I have never done it before. I design all my own stuff, but Father's Day is a Sunday, so I didn't have time. So I will drop that down below, and it is a little bit lengthy, but it is because I am really trying to explain to you guys what I am doing. So I hope you're able to sit through the entire video, and make sure to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let's get started with this video. All right, everyone, here is the sign we are going to be working on today. We're hooked on Daddy. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'll do this a little slower. So this sign is going to be 12 by 16, and I am just measuring out my 1 by 12 piece of pine wood. And then I don't know what this is called. I gotta look this up, but it basically has a flat edge so that it will hook on the outer part of like your piece of wood. And then I am just trying to find wherever that line is, you want to cut basically just outside that line so that you actually get your 12 by 16 cut. Because if I were to cut right on that line, it would bring me at a little below 16 inches, if that makes sense, because your blade is however big. I don't know, you guys. And you guys, if you don't have a miter saw, if you are just starting off, you do not have to purchase this. You can tell Home Depot, Menards, whatever it is, what cut you want, and they will cut it for you. So now I'm doing my frame. I'm using 1 by 2s, and I am just measuring the bottom. I'm holding it up to it, and I am holding it flush with the end of the sign. And then I'm going to mark off my space eventually. Where's my pencil? So when you are measuring off, mark your line a little bit more than where your sign ends, because I personally, and this should be for everybody, rather have my piece of frame longer than shorter, because if it's shorter, then you've basically wasted that piece of wood because you won't be able to use it on your sign. But I do recycle because I do mess up and cut it shorter, but I just use it for one of the end pieces. So now we're just taking our miter saw and we're cutting this as well. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to find my placement. I want to cut it a little past the line. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to measure it against my wood so that I know, like, do I have to cut it down a little bit more, or is it too short? I was the worst at making frames for a while, and then I told my husband, like, you make them. Like, I keep on messing up on these, and then it takes double the work, but practice makes perfect. And now I'm going to repeat that step with all sides. I feel like my voice gets all like, okay, I tried to make it closer, but I don't know if it works, you guys. Okay, so here I am. There's the end, and I'm putting my little mark a little past that piece of wood, the end of the piece of wood. And now we're going to mark it off, and we're going to go back and we are going to cut that piece of wood as well. And it's okay to make mistakes. There's so many times where I cut these too short, but just save those pieces if they don't work for your sign at all, because they'll work eventually for maybe smaller signs that you use. You could use them for little signs in like your tiered tower trays if you have them. And there's nothing more satisfying than getting the cut right the first time, let me tell you. And I've learned too, I made a lot of mistakes at first. Once I cut that first side, I would go and get that piece that I just cut, thinking like, okay, well, it fit this side, so it should fit the other one. And look, I'm measuring this side again because I cut that piece too short. So now I'm having to go back and do it, but we will recycle it for the sides. But anyways, I would take that first cut piece and then I'd put it against like the larger piece, measure it, assuming that they would be the same size, because I mean, why wouldn't they? But they don't ever match up. I don't know why. But I've learned my lesson, so I just measure each side out on its own. I do not use the fresh cut piece of wood to measure the other side, if that makes sense. So now I'm going to get this the bottom part, bottom or top, whatever you want to call it. And I'm laying out those two pieces, because you're not measuring just on the piece of wood anymore. You need to make sure it's the length of the frame now. So we're going to do the same concept. We're going to mark a line a little past where we actually need it. There we go. And then we are going to use our little tool. I love this tool. And we're going to mark that off. And this was my recycled piece. This is the piece that I had initially cut too short, but I'm going to make sure I get some use out of it and cut that baby. And make sure you guys, you're using protective glasses, or you're just wearing your sunglasses. There are many times where I'm just working away and don't put them on, and then you get a bunch of dust in your eyes or a flake, and those flakes do not feel good. So there we go. Do you see how flush? And it looks like, okay, that was a little too long, so I need to cut this. So for frames, you guys, I haven't really gotten any wood cut from hardware stores, so I think it would be hard to ask them to cut. I mean, if you knew exact measurements, I'm sure that you can tell them. But for sure, your big piece, your 1x12, they could cut those down to anything that you want. And I get all of my wood. We have a local hardware store called Menards, and I think by far they have the best selection usually. What do you call it? Home Depot's is super spotty, but I do get all my wood rounds from Home Depot. And Lowe's, I don't know, they have their wood like up on a shelf. So it's like to look through, like I have to look at every piece of wood when I'm buying wood. I don't always get the best. Obviously, this one's a little warped. But Lowe's has it up on a shelf, so you literally have to take each one down from the shelf to be able to look at them, and then you have to pick them all back up. And they're like, I'm 5'9", and like that shelf is like above my waist, so it's not very convenient to shop there for me. Or I could just be lazy, I don't know. Okay, so, gee, am I still? No, we're not working on that piece anymore. Okay, so that was obviously still too long, but like I said, I'd rather it be longer than too short because I could still work with long. So, let's see if that is flush now. Yay! And as you've noticed, maybe you haven't, most people use, what is that? Plywood, the thinner piece. And when I first started out, I tried it. Let me tell you, I tried it and I couldn't get the hang of it for whatever reason. I just could not get the hang of it. And then we finally decided, like, let's just use the pine wood. It's easier for framing to like staple it in, for the wood glue, all that stuff. So now we are going to sand this, and we're sanding all of our frame. We're gonna sand that pine wood. I cannot stress enough, sand, 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 okay? Just because it might look smooth, there's debris on there, there's little splinters. I am very much, if you're gonna do something, do it right the first time. Don't go half-a on a project, especially if you're doing it for someone else. You want them to remember the quality work you do. So just make sure to take the extra step, and you're going to have a better product afterwards if you do, trust me. Make sure that you get those ends very good too. And I don't know why I'm wiping it off. Okay, now you guys, it's already stained because I messed up and had to sand off that stain. So the back of your sign, that stain color should match whatever color your frame is. So for me, this is carbon gray. She wanted the frame carbon gray for this sign. So the back of my sign is going to be carbon gray. The front, you guys, this is amazing. I think I've told you in my other one, if you're ordering a wood sign from me, I want as much wood on there to show as possible. And of course, that's not everybody's look. So instead of doing black chalk paint, I do black stain. This is true black. I think this is MiniWax, maybe it's Varathane. I will definitely check. But this is true black, you guys, and this is black as black. I used to use ebony and thought that was as dark as it went, but then I found true black. Look at that. It's like pure black. I love it. So when people want black lettering, I use that. That way you could still see some wood grain in it. Now we're going to stain our wood piece, our frame, and this is carbon gray again by Varathane. And make sure you guys, I'll hold up a piece, but when you are doing basically any piece of wood, you're pressing on that wood, and sometimes if you have a little bit too much stain on your rag or whatever you choose to use, I use microfiber cloth. See how that dripped on the side? If you don't check the sides and that would stay there, then you would have a darker spot and you will see that drippage basically. And the only way you'll be able to get that off is by resanding and then doing it over again. So make sure you are double checking your work and double checking all of your sides to make sure that none of that stain went anywhere else. And if you watched my previous wood sign video, I do use microfiber cloths. They're pretty inexpensive and come in a big bundle, and I just cut them in like, I don't know, 2x3s or 3x3 little pieces. Shake them out because they are like kind of, what do you call it, fluffy? I don't know. So here's my decal, and this is how I measure to make sure that my stencil or my decals or whatever are the exact same size as my wood. I lay it face down. I get a lead pencil so that it's gonna hit right where I need it to be. And I'm gonna cut that, and you'll see what I mean, because then if you just cut around that stencil, then you're gonna have to play around with placement and figure out where it needs to go. Sorry, this is going fast because you guys, this silhouette contact paper, it's good when you're taking it off, but it does not stick to the vinyl at all. So do you see how I'm laying it out, and it's fit it perfect? Because it's exactly the image that I got for my cameo printed out, and all I had to do was lay it out by tracing the wood piece on it. But like I said, with this silhouette paper, I'm sorry, cameo silhouette, but it is not great for actually sticking to your vinyl, but see how easy it comes off of the vinyl? But I'm trying to use all the stuff that I have, and I had a bunch of this. So now I'm pressing that vinyl down. These are small letters. I do not want my paint to seep under, so I am just ensuring I'm pushing that down. So now I'm taking my white linen chalk paint, and I am going to use like those mini foam rollers. I love this, you guys. I love this roller. It is so awesome. And I am going to put the white over my stencil. Now make sure, if you see me, I'm going to kind of go over it again right here, how I kind of smoothly go over it, because if you're pressing a little harder on one section, you're gonna leave a darker, thicker line somewhere. So now we're going in with the second coat. I always, over the black, you only need 2 coats, and it is white as white. So only use 2. And then again, you want to go over and smooth out that white paint so that you don't have a line or anything like that on there. And now it is dry, and make sure it is dry. I always go over with a blow dryer as well. So here's my weeding tool. And you guys, when you are trying to weed your things, obviously it's white on white. So I kind of hold mine up to the light if I'm not sure where that stencil is. And I'm using this synthetic brush for a couple reasons. This is gonna speed up right now, you guys. Chalk paint is super dusty. And when you are peeling up your vinyl, the chalk paint kind of crumbles. Like you could see all those little pieces coming up. It's the vinyl that's on top. It is the chalk paint on top of the vinyl. So if you were to leave that on there, I've learned the hard way. That's why I am trying to teach you. It gets on your fingers. If you touched the black wood, it would make it all dusty. And let me tell you, it does not come off. It is very hard to come off. So I use the synthetic brush whenever I see a bunch of that, and then I wipe it off, because you do not want it to go back onto your wood and it will kind of stain it. So make sure you are wiping that chalk debris off of there. And go slow. This has taken me a little bit to master, but I used to get my weeding tool and like dig underneath the vinyl to try and get it off, and then it would leave little puncture holes in my wood. So take your time, put on some music, weed it out. So now I'm taking this little teeny baby brush. It came in a pack, you guys. I don't know if I got this from Dollar Tree or Michael's or Joann's. I'm sorry. And I am just touching up any little places that either, like that spot right there looked dirty to me. I don't know why it would have been dirty. You're gonna have to hold on, buddy. And now I'm taking the polyacrylic paint, and since this is inside, we can use the polyacrylic paint. I do usually use the clear mattes, like chalk finish paint, but it did something weird to my mirror, and so I was scared to use it. So make sure when you are doing this that you're using even coats. And why I like kind of go down and check is because you have to make sure everything is coated, because if you miss a spot, it will show up when it dries. You will know where that clear went. So now we are framing. I could do this myself, but I need to make my husband feel useful. So we're going to go ahead and give him this project right now. And like I said, I like to give you guys eye candy. So we're putting Gorilla Wood Glue on the bottom pieces. Do not put it in the middle, because if you do, and then when we squeeze that together, how he is putting them all together, it will come up and get on your side, which you do not want. And then we're using clamps to hold it all together so that we can allow that wood glue to dry before we put our nails in. It is okay if the wood glue gets on the bottom, because you could kind of sand that off, but you do not want it getting on top. So make sure you're putting your wood glue on those bottoms. Oh wait, I didn't even show. Okay, you guys, sorry, but we did staple it. And now I am measuring the back because our sign is completed. I'm sorry, but he does nail on each sides of the ends of the frame, and then in the middle on each side, to make sure that the actual piece of pine wood is connected to our frame. And now I'm just taking a Sawtooth wood hanger. This is about 12 by 16, so I only need one of these. This is usually what I use. I get them at Walmart. And you guys, we are done. And here is our Father's Day sign. We're hooked on Daddy, customizable names. I will link the SVG down below. I hope this helped you guys. If you are new to wood sign making, I hope this was useful and that you got a lot of information out of it. If there's any questions you have, just comment below. I'm an open book. I will be happy to answer any of your questions. I hope you guys have a good day. Please make sure to subscribe, check out more of my videos, and give me a thumbs up. Bye, you guys.